So for the daily procedures, day 8, so look for the lecture videos on YouTube detailing the basic opinions and feature articles. Shows that the videos to class, that videos will take about 5 minutes each. So opinion writing and feature writing. So give a skeletal structure on an outline for the 2 videos in which the basic content and structures of opinion and feature articles are identified. Type of article, essential of contents of the article, parts of the article description, additional tips, tell students to fill in the outlines on their notebooks, distribute samples of opinion and feature articles. Each student will have 1 sample of each. So from this article and the videos they previously watched, ask the students to review the content and structure of opinion and features articles by creating mnemonic devices. And lastly, according to their individual preferences, the students can make a short poem or comic strips that illustrates how feature and opinion articles help forward changes in society. They will be given the rest of the hour to complete this on a short coupon bun. Next slide, please. So for the day 7, shows the coherence of the learning outcomes and the daily procedures. First, learning outcomes distinguish the steps in writing a primary lead or secondary lead and background in the news article. So what I've already tackled this. So procedures at the lecture presentation, the students to make the personalized diagrams that outline the basic structure of a news article in their notebooks. After 5 minutes, flash samples of diagrams that describes the structure of the news article for students to compare and refine their outputs if needed. So discuss with others and reviewing online articles to identify the qualities of a good news lead and background. So you may ask the students what kind of news lead makes them want to read the entire article and what they think are the qualities of a good news article. You should allow the students to discuss their answers within the seatmates after a few minutes and ask some of them to share their responses briefly. So for the last, creating new stories about a significant current event using a variety of print and non-print resources. Using their homework, the day 6 structure, the students to work individually, work on news article about a significant issue within their schools through Microsoft. Tell students to properly cite their sources and the news article in printed materials, knowledge, and knowledgeable authorities. So for the next slide, please. Show the coherence of the learning outcomes and the daily procedures. The first learning outcome, which is the distinguish the steps in writing a primary lead and secondary lead background in the news article, is attained through an introductory lectures of news writing with the use of PowerPoint presentation. The discussion includes samples of newspaper articles from the print publication and online news sites in the presentation. This enables students to acquire understanding on basic structures of a news article and to distinguish the steps in writing and primary lead, secondary lead, and background in a news article, which allows the attainment of the first outcome. So it's really important that you could distinguish this thing in order for you to have a good analysis in terms of news article. And we need to deal with that because we need to deal with the fact check and as always the article itself. So we need to deal all the primary lead and the secondary lead. Next. Second learning outcomes is to discuss with others after reviewing online news article in order to identify the qualities of a good news lead and a background. The procedure that is carried out to achieve their learning outcome is to pair and share activity. So first, the teacher presents the sample of the news articles and then asks students why they think are the qualities of a good news article background. Afterwards, the teacher asks her students to discuss their answers with their seatmates and later on share the responses briefly to the class. As a result of this procedure, the second learning outcome is successfully accomplished. So, comprehending and analyzing the news article, what is a good news article is really important because it delves to acquire the second learning outcome of the learners. Next, the third learning outcome, which is to create a news story about the significant current events using a variety of print and non-print resources, is carried out through a summative assessment news spread using their homework from day 6. The teacher instructs the students to work individually on a news article about the significant current issue within the school through Microsoft Word. This procedure enables students to demonstrate or apply their basic knowledge of news writing in creating a news story about a significant current event, thus the attainment of third learning outcome. So, for the next slide, we have Jasmine for the day 8 learning outcomes and procedures.